am Eileen Worthen. I am one of the owners of Potager restaurant. Potager has been open since 1997, and about a year ago, my husband, my business partner, and then our other silent partners and I all took the leap and purchased Potager from the original owners, Tom and Terry Rippatu. But I'll back up a little bit and explain how I got to be here. So back in 2017, I moved cross country from New York, just because it was time to leave New York City and the East Coast, and my then boyfriend, now husband, had a job opportunity here in Denver. And so before I even moved, I researched a bunch of places for best wine lists, best farm-to-table dining, best small neighborhood restaurant, and Potager just kept coming up over and over. And I thought, man, that's a place I'd really like to work. It just fits with everything that I believe in and was kind of doing on the East Coast already. So when I got out here in spring of 2017, Potager just happened to be hiring, and I walked in, interviewed with the manager and also the owner, Terry, and was hired immediately to be a server. So that first summer was fantastic. I learned so much about Colorado and farming and the Capitol Hill neighborhood, and I really got to know the wine program with the then wine director, Anthony, and I just loved it. I just loved Potager so much, everything that it stood for. And so then that fall, Anthony was moving on to take a new job, and I told Terry that rather than hire an outside person, I should take over the wine program. Back in New York, I had gotten my sommelier certification with honors from the Sommelier Society of America. So I am a certified sommelier, even though I don't brag about it or use it that often. But yes, I passed my test and I am a certified sommelier. So I took over the wine program at Potager, with the focus still being on small, family-owned, really working farms that are producing great small lots of wine, nothing major. And a lot of times people will come into the restaurant and say, "Don't you have so-and-so producer?" Probably not. You probably don't know anyone on our list. The whole idea is to support small agriculture and family-owned businesses, since we are a family-owned business. Anyway, so took over the wine program, and then my husband Paul interviewed for the job as chef de cuisine, and got it. And Terry kind of said in that interview, "Hey, you know, I want to sell the business eventually, and I want to sell it to you guys, so really only take this job if you're serious about it." And so we thought that meant a few years down the line, and then kind of less than a year later she was ready to sell. So we figured it out. We brought on our business partner, and then found this lovely couple who were regulars here for 8 years, and they helped us purchase the restaurant. So the 5 of us now own Potager, and we have since last April of 2019. So that is how Potager came to be the way it is, with Paul and Nick and myself, and then our partners Jason and Kyle. Just a little bit more about me. I am from New York State originally. I grew up an hour north of the city, and I went to NYU, and then my first restaurant job was up in my hometown at a French restaurant, where I really learned how to love food, but also a little bit about wine service. I started polishing glasses and doing coffees and bussing tables and kind of being the everything person. And then when I went to New York for college, I got a job at a steakhouse downtown where I was a hostess. And then at age 20, they said, "Hey, you do such a great job as a hostess. Do you want to be a server?" And I immediately said, yes, that's where the money is, and I want to learn as much as I can. And I liked going to school in New York, but I loved working at restaurants. I mean, I loved it. So I worked in restaurants almost my whole life, on and off. But I did also get my master's in education at Brooklyn College. So I am a teacher, which actually translates really well. The restaurant world kept pulling me back in. My now husband and I briefly lived in rural Virginia, and I worked on a vineyard, a working vineyard, for 2 years. I worked in the tasting room and outside. So that's where I got the base of my wine knowledge. And then, as I mentioned, I moved back to New York and got my sommelier certification through the Sommelier Society of America. And then just, restaurants, I couldn't stay away. And so the goal always was to have our own place, and when the opportunity to purchase Potager came up, we just couldn't pass it up. And so for us, Potager is our family. When this whole thing started happening, we were like, no, we're going to keep the doors open. We're going to keep the doors open. And a lot of it was for the neighborhood, but a lot of it is for our staff. They're our family. We have a staff of about 20 people, and we are very fortunate to say we have not laid a single person off. We have raised the hourly rate so that everyone is making at least a base pay, and we worked it so that we're open more hours so that everyone gets kind of at least somewhat what they need, about probably a little over 60% of what people were making. They're still making maybe more like 75%. The back of house is working full time. We have adapted really quickly to takeout and delivery. We're doing the best we can. They overhaul the menu every day. We're still getting everything from the farms. Everything is still farm to table. We're trying to do everything we can to support local businesses only. Now I'm only really buying from the small Colorado beverage companies, not the big national ones. And on the kitchen side of things, again, we're still buying everything from farms in Colorado, and as many purveyors locally as possible, or sustainable. If we can't get something in Colorado, we're just trying to do everything as sustainably as we can. And really the goal for us is not to make any money right now, but to make sure our staff, who is our family, is able to keep their jobs and keep up with their way of life. So we're not necessarily doing anything big or big-minded. We're really trying to just take care of the 20 people that are our family. And maybe that's not as impressive as donating millions of dollars to big organizations that are helping restaurant workers across the country in need, but we're starting closer to home. I'm really proud to say that we did not lay off a single person. Our entire staff is working. Our entire staff is here and happy and gets to see each other and have some sense of normalcy. And we're taking all the proper precautions with sanitizing and gloves and cleaning all the surfaces. Everyone is wearing gloves for every project that they do. We're really, really trying to do everything we can to keep a safe, clean workspace, but also to keep open. And we do that more for our staff members than for ourselves. I don't really want to work 7 days a week, but we are, so that everyone has a job and a way to pay their bills. And again, while that might not be the most big, impressive thing that we're doing to help during this time, we're hoping to help at least 20 people that we know and love, so that they don't feel neglected or helpless or lost during this time. So that's why we really do hope that everyone orders Potager still. We are doing great, really good local food. It might not translate exactly the same as if you were to dine here, but it's still fresh and healthy, and we're just doing everything we can to remain a neighborhood kind of beacon of hope during this difficult time. And we're doing takeout, curbside, pickup, delivery, as little contact as you want. And we're just trying to do everything we can to keep positive, and we hope that you all will order from us at some point in the future. because everything helps. Everything you do helps, and we'll do our best to make sure you have a delicious, clean, healthy meal. Yeah, so I guess that's it in kind of a little nutshell. I could ramble on forever, but we're just really grateful to everyone who has supported us. We want to be open another 23 years. Thanks. Cheers.